Book 18. So after the quest of the Sangreal was fulfilled, and all knights that were left alive were come again unto the Table Round, as the book of the Sangreal maketh mention, then was there great joy in the court. And in especial King Arthur and Queen Guinevere made great joy of the remnant that were come home, and passing glad was the king and the queen of Sir Lancelot and of Sir Bors, for they had been passing long away in the quest of the Sangreal. Then, as the book saith, Sir Lancelot began to resort unto Queen Guinevere again, and forgat the promise and the perfection that he made in the quest. For, as the book saith, had not Sir Lancelot been in his privy thoughts and in his mind so set inwardly to the queen as he was in seeming outward to God, there had no knight passed him in the quest of the Sangreal, but ever his thoughts were privily on the queen, and so they loved together more hotter than they did beforehand, and had such privy draughts together, that many in the court spake of it, and in especial Sir Gawain, Sir Gawain's brother, for he was ever open-mouthed. So befell that Sir Lancelot had many resorts of ladies and damosels that daily resorted unto him, that besought him to be their champion, and in all such matters of right Sir Lancelot applied him daily to do for the pleasure of our Lord Jesu Christ. And ever as much as he might, he withdrew him from the company and fellowship of Queen Guinevere, for to eschew the slander and noise. Wherefore the queen waxed wroth with Sir Lancelot. And upon a day she called Sir Lancelot unto her chamber, and said thus, Sir Lancelot, I see and feel daily that thy love beginneth to slake, for thou hast no joy to be in my presence, but ever thou art out of this court, and quarrels and matters thou hast nowadays for ladies and gentlewomen more than ever thou wert wont to have aforehand. Ah, madam, said Lancelot, in this ye must hold me excused for divers causes. One is, I was but late in the quest of the Sangreal, and I thank God of his great mercy, and never of my desert, that I saw in that my quest as much as ever saw any sinful man, and so was it told me. And if I had not had my privy thoughts to return to your love again as I do, I had seen as great mysteries as ever saw my son Galahad, out of Percival, or Sir Bors, and therefore, madam, I was but late in that quest. Wit ye well, madam, it may not be yet lightly forgotten the high service in whom I did my diligent labor. Also, madam, wit ye well that there be many men speak of our love in this court, and have you and me greatly in await, as Sir Gawain and Sir Mordred. And madam, wit ye well I dread the more for your sake than for any fear I have of them myself, for I may happen to escape and rid myself in a great need, where ye must abide all that will be said unto you. And then if that ye fall in any distress through wilful folly, then is there none other remedy or help but by me and my blood. And wit ye well, madam, the boldness of you and me will bring us to great shame and slander, and that will me loath to see you dishonoured. And that is the cause I take upon me more for to do for damosels and maidens than ever I did tofore, that men should understand my joy and my delight is my pleasure to have ado for damosels and maidens. Chapter 2. How the Queen commanded Sir Lancelot to avoid the court, and of the sorrow that Lancelot made. All this while the Queen stood still and let Sir Lancelot say what he would. And when he had all said, she brast out a weeping, and so she sobbed and wept a great while. And when she might speak, she said, Lancelot, now I well understand that thou art a false recreant knight and a common lecher, and lovest and holdest other ladies, and by me thou hast disdain and scorn. For wit thou well, she said, now I understand thy falsehood, and therefore shall I never love thee no more. And never be thou so hardy to come in my sight, and right here I discharge thee this court, that thou never come within it, and I forfend thee my fellowship, and upon pain of thy head that thou see me no more. Right so Sir Lancelot departed with great heaviness, that unneed he might sustain himself for great dole-making. Then he called Sir Bors, Sir Ector de Maris, and Sir Lionel, and told them how the Queen had forfended him the court, and so he was in will to depart into his own country. Fair sir, said Sir Bors to Gannis, ye shall not depart out of this land by mine advice. Ye must remember in what honour ye are renowned, and called the noblest knight of the world, and many great matters ye have in hand. And women in their hastiness will do oft times that so repenteth them, and therefore by mine advice ye shall take your horse, and ride to the good hermitage here beside Windsor, that sometime was a good knight, his name is Abrasius, and there shall ye abide till I send you word of better tidings. Brother, said Sir Lancelot, wit ye well I am full loath to depart out of this realm, but the Queen hath defended me so highly, that meseemeth she will never be my good lady as she hath been. Say ye never so, said Sir Bors, For many times of this time she had been wroth with you, and after it she was the first that repented it. Ye say well, said Lancelot, for now will I do by your counsel, and take mine horse and my harness, and ride to the hermit's abrasions, and there will I repose me until I hear some men of tidings from you. But, fair brother, I pray you get me the love of my lady, Queen Gniva, and ye may. Sir, said Sir Bors, ye need not to move me of such matters, for well ye what I will do what I may to please you. And then the noble knight, Sir Lancelot, departed with right heavy cheer suddenly, that none earthly creature wist of him, no way was become but Sir Bors. So when Sir Lancelot was departed, the queen outward made no manner of sorrow in showing to none of his blood nor to none other. But wit ye well, inwardly, as the book saith, she took great thought, but she bare it out with a proud countenance as though she felt nothing nor danger. And then the queen let make a privy dinner in London unto the knights of the Round Table. And all was for to show outward that she had as great joy in all other knights of the Table Round as she had in Sir Lancelot. All only at that dinner she had Sir Gawain and his brethren, that is for to say Sir Agravain, Sir Gaheris, Sir Gareth, and Sir Mordred. Also there was Sir Bors de Ganis, Sir Blamore de Ganis, Sir Bleoberis de Ganis, Sir Galahad, Sir Galihodin, Sir Ector de Maris, Sir Lionel, Sir Palamides, Sir Fear his brother, Sir La Cote Mailtail, Sir Passant, Sir Ironside, Sir Brandiles, Sir Kay le Seneschal, Sir Maida de la Porte, Sir Patrise, a knight of Ireland, Aladuc, Sir Astamo, and Sir Penel le Savage, the which was cousin to Sir Lamorac de Gales, the good knight that Sir Gawain and his brethren slew by treason. And so these 24 knights should dine with the queen in a privy place by themselves, and there was made a great feast of all manner of dainties. But Sir Gawain had a custom that he used daily at dinner and at supper, that he loved well all manner of fruit, and in especial apples and pears. And therefore whosoever dined or feasted Sir Gawain would commonly purvey for good fruit for him, and so did the queen for to please Sir Gawain. She let purvey for him all manner of fruit, for Sir Gawain was a passing hot knight of nature. And this Penel hated Sir Gawain because of his kinsman Sir Lamorac de Gales, and therefore for pure envy and hate Sir Penel poisoned certain apples for to empoison Sir Gawain. And so this was well unto the end of the meat. And so it befell by misfortune a good knight named Patrise, cousin unto Sir Maida de la Porte, to take a poisoned apple. And when he had eaten it, he swelled so till he brast, and there Sir Patrise fell down suddenly dead among them. Then every knight leapt from the board ashamed, and erred for wrath, nigh out of their wits. For they wist not what to say. Considering Queen Gniva made the feast and dinner, they all had suspicion unto her. My lady, the queen, said Gawain, wit ye well, madam, that this dinner was made for me, for all folks that know my condition understand that I love well fruit, and now I see well I had near been slain. Therefore, madam, I dread me lest ye will be shamed. Then the queen stood still and was so abashed that she nist not what to say. This shall not so be ended, said Sir Maida de la Porte, for here have I lost a full noble knight of my blood, and therefore upon this shame and despite I will be revenged the utterance. And there openly Sir Maida appealed the queen of the death of his cousin, Sir Patrice. Then stood they all still, that none would speak a word against him, for they all had great suspicion unto the queen because she let make that dinner. And the queen was so abashed that she could none other ways do, but wept so heartily that she fell in a swoon. With this noise and cry came to them King Arthur, and when he wist of that trouble he was a passing heavy man. Chapter 4. How Sir Maida appeached the queen of treason, and there was no knight would fight for her at the first time. And ever Sir Maida stood still for the king, and ever he appealed the queen of treason. For the custom was such at time that all manner of shameful death was called treason. Fair lords, said King Arthur, me repenteth of this trouble, but the case is so I may not have ado in this matter, for I must be a rightful judge, and that repenteth me that I may not do battle for my wife, for as I deem this deed came never by her. And therefore I suppose she shall not be all disdained, but that some good knight shall put his body in jeopardy for my queen rather than she shall be brent in a wrong quarrel. And therefore, Sir Maida, be not so hasty, for it may happen she shall not be all friendless, and therefore desire thou thy day of battle, and she shall purvey her of some good knight that shall answer you, or else it were to me great shame, and to all my court. My gracious lord, said Sir Maida, ye must hold me excused, For though ye be our king in that degree, ye are but a knight as we are, and ye are sworn unto knighthood as well as we. And therefore I beseech you that ye be not displeased, for there is none of the 24 knights that were bidden to this dinner, but all they have great suspicion unto the queen. What say ye all, my lords? Said Sir Maida. Then they answered by and by that they could not excuse the queen, for why she made the dinner, and either it must come by her or by her servants. Alas, said the queen, I made this dinner for a good intent, and never for none evil. So Almighty God me help am I right, as I was never purposed to do such evil deeds, and that I report me unto God. My lord, the king, said Sir Maida, I require you as ye be a righteous king give me a day that I may have justice. Well, said the king, I give a day this day 15 days, that thou be ready armed on horseback in the meadow beside Westminster. And if it so fall that there be any knight to encounter with you, then mayst thou do the best, and God speed the right. And if it so fall that there be no knight at that day, then must my queen be burnt, and there she shall be ready to have a judgment. I am answered, said Sir Maida, and every knight went where it liked them. So when the king and the queen were together, the king asked the queen how this case befell. The queen answered, So God me help, I wot not how or in what manner. Where is Sir Lancelot? Said King Arthur, and he were here he would not grudge to do battle for you. Sir, said the queen, I wot not where he is, but his brother and his kinsman deem that he be not within this realm. That me repenteth, said King Arthur, for when he were here he would soon stint this strife. Then I will counsel you, said the king, and unto Sir Bors, that ye will do battle for her for Sir Lancelot's sake, and upon my life he will not refuse you. For well I see, said the king, that none of these 24 knights that were with you at your dinner where Sir Patrise was slain, that will do battle for you, nor none of them will say well of you, and that shall be a great slander for you in this court. Alas, said the queen, and I may not do withal, but now I miss Sir Lancelot, for when he were here he would put me soon to my heart's ease. What aileth you? Said the king, ye cannot keep Sir Lancelot upon your side. For wit ye well, said the king, who that a Sir Lancelot upon his part at the most man of worship in the world upon his side. Now go your way, said the king unto the queen, and require Sir Bors to do battle for you for Sir Lancelot's sake. So the queen departed from the king, and sent for Sir Bors into her chamber. And when he was come, she besought him of succour. Madam, said he, what would ye that I did? For I may not with my worship have ado in this matter, because I was at the same dinner, for dread that any of those knights would have me in suspicion. Also, madam, said Sir Bors, now miss ye Sir Lancelot, for he would not have failed you neither in right nor in wrong, as ye have well proved when ye have been in danger, and now ye have driven him out of this country, by whom ye and all we would daily worship by. Therefore, madam, I marvel how ye dare for shame require me to do anything for you, in so much ye have chased him out of your country by whom we were born up and honoured. Alas, fair knight, said the queen, I put me wholly in your grace, and all that is done amiss I will amend as ye will counsel me. And therewith she kneeled down upon both her knees, and besought Sir Bors to have mercy upon her. Out her I shall have a shameful death, and thereto I never offended. Right so came King Arthur, and found the queen kneeling afore Sir Bors. Then Sir Bors pulled her up, and said, Madam, ye do me great dishonour. Ah, gentle knight, said the king, have mercy upon my queen, courteous knight, for I am now certain she is untruly defamed. And therefore, courteous knight, said the king, promise her to do battle for her. I require you for the love of Sir Lancelot. My lord, said Sir Bors, ye require me the greatest thing that any man may require me, and wit ye well if I grant to do battle for the queen, I shall wrath many of my fellowship of the Table Round. But as for that, said Bors, I will grant my lord that for my lord Sir Lancelot's sake, and for your sake I will at that day be the queen's champion unless that there come by adventure a better knight than I am to do battle for her. Will ye promise me this? Said the king, by your faith? Yes, sir, said Sir Bors, of that I will not fail you, nor both, but if there come a better knight than I am, and then shall he have the battle. Then was the king and the queen passing glad, and so departed, and thanked him heartily. So then Sir Bors departed secretly upon a day, and rode unto Sir Lancelot there as he was with a hermit, Sir Brasius, and told him of all their adventure. Ah, Jesu, said Sir Lancelot, this has come happily as I would have it, and therefore I pray ye make you ready to do battle, but look that ye tarry till ye see me come, as long as ye may. For I am sure Maida is an hot knight when he is enchafed, for the more ye suffer him the hastier will he be to battle. Sir, said Bors, let me deal with him. Doubt ye not ye shall have all your will. Then departed Sir Bors from him, and came to the court again. Then was it noise in all the court that Sir Bors should do battle for the queen, wherefore many knights were displeased with him, that he would take upon him to do battle in the queen's quarrel. For there were but few knights in all the court, but they deemed the queen was in the wrong, and that she had done that treason. So Sir Bors answered thus to his fellows of the Table Round, Wit ye well, my fair lords, it was shame to us all, and we suffered to see the most noble queen of the world to be shamed openly, considering her lord and our lord is a man of most worship in the world, and most christened, and he hath ever worshipped us all in all places. Many answered him again, As for our most noble King Arthur, we love him and honor him as well as ye do, but as for Queen Guinevere we love her not, because she is a destroyer of good knights. Fair lords, said Sir Bors, meseemeth ye say not as ye should say, for never yet in my days knew I never nor heard say that ever she was destroyer of any good knight. But at all times, as far as ever I could know, she was maintainer of good knights, and ever she had been large and free of her goods to all good knights, and the most bounteous lady of her gifts and her good grace that ever I saw or heard speak of. And therefore it was shame, said Sir Bors, to us all to our most noble king's wife, and we suffered her to be shamefully slain. And wit ye well, said Sir Bors, I will not suffer it, for I dare say so much. The queen is not guilty of Sir Petrie's death, for she owed him never none ill will, nor none of the 24 knights that were at that dinner. For I dare say for good love she bade us a dinner, and not for no malengin, and that I doubt not shall be proved hereafter, for howsomever the game goeth, there was treason among us. Then some said to Sir Bors, We may well believe your words. And so some of them were well pleased, and some were not so. Chapter 6. How at the day Sir Bors made him ready for the fight for the queen, and when he would fight, how another discharged him. The day came on fast until the even that the battle should be. Then the queen sent for Sir Bors and asked him how he was disposed. Truly, madam, said he, I am disposed, and likewise as I promise you, that is for to say I shall not fail you, unless by adventure there come a better knight than I am to do battle for you. Then, madam, am I discharged of my promise? Will ye, said the queen, that I tell my lord Arthur thus? Do as it shall please you, madam. Then the queen went unto the king, and told him the answer of Sir Bors. Have ye no doubt, said the king, of Sir Bors, for I call him now one of the best knights of the world, and the most profitablest man. And thus it passed on until the morn, and the king and the queen and all manner of knights that were there at that time drew them unto the meadow beside Westminster, where the battle should be. And so when the king was come with the queen and many knights of the Round Table, then the queen was put there in the constable's ward, and a great fire made about an iron stake. Then Sir Maida de la Porte had the better, she should be burnt. Such custom was used in those days, that neither for favour, neither for love nor affinity, there should be none other but righteous judgment, as well upon a king as upon a knight, and as well upon a queen as upon another poor lady. So in this meanwhile came in Sir Maida de la Porte, and took his oath afore the king, that the queen did this treason until his cousin Sir Patrise, and unto his oath he would prove it with his body, hand for hand, who that would say the contrary. Right so came in Sir Bors to Ganis, and said, that as for Queen Guinevere she is in the right, and that will I make good with my hands, that she is not culpable of this treason that is put upon her. Then make thee ready, said Sir Maida, and we shall prove whether thou be in the right, or I. Sir Maida, said Sir Bors, wit thou well I know you for a good knight. Not for then I shall not fear you so greatly, but I trust to God I shall be able to withstand your malice. But this much have I promised my lord Arthur and my lady the queen, that I shall do battle for her in this case to the uttermost, unless that there come a better knight than I am and discharge me. Is that all? Said Sir Maida, either come now off and do battle with me, or else say nay. Take your horse, said Sir Bors, and as I suppose, ye shall not tarry long but ye shall be answered. Then either departed to their tents, and made them ready to horseback as they thought best. And anon Sir Maida came into the field with his shield on his shoulder and his spear in his hand, and so rode about the place crying unto Arthur, Bid your champion come forth any day. Then was Sir Bors ashamed, and took his horse and came to the list end. And then was he where came from a wood there fast by a knight all armed, upon a white horse, with a strange shield of strange arms. And he came riding all that he might run. And so he came to Sir Bors, and said thus, Fair knight, I pray you be not displeased, for here must a better knight than ye have this battle. Therefore I pray you withdraw you. For wit ye well I have had this day a right great journey, and this battle ought to be mine. And so I promise you when I spake with you last, and with all my heart I thank you of your goodwill. Then Sir Bors rode unto King Arthur, and told him how there was a knight come that would have the battle for the fight for the queen. What knight is he? Said the king. I wot not, said Sir Bors, but such covenant he made with me to be here this day. Now, my lord, said Sir Bors, here am I discharged. Chapter 7. How Sir Lancelot fought against Sir Maida for the queen, and how he overcame Sir Maida, and discharged the queen. Then the king called to that knight, and asked him if he would fight for the queen. Then he answered to the king, Therefore came I hither, and therefore, Sir King, he said, tarry me no longer, for I may not tarry. For anon as I have finished this battle I must depart hence, for I have ado many matters elsewhere. For wit you well, said that knight, this is dishonour to you all knights of the Round Table, to see and know so noble a lady and so courteous a queen as Queen Guinevere is, thus to be rebuked and shamed amongst you. Then they all marvelled what knight that might be that so took the battle upon him, for there was not one that knew him, but if it was Sir Bors. Then said Sir Maida de la Porte unto the king, Now let me wit with whom I shall have ado withal. And then they rode to the lists end, and there they couched their spears, and ran together with all their might. And Sir Maida's spear brake all to pieces, but the other's spear held, and bare Sir Maida's horse, and all backward to the earth a great fall. But mightily and suddenly he avoided his horse, and put his shield afore him, and then drew his sword, and bade the other knight alight, and do battle with him on foot. Then that knight descended from his horse lightly like a valiant man, and put his shield afore him, and drew his sword. And so they came eagerly unto battle, and either gave other many great strokes, tracing and traversing, racing and foining, and hurtling together with their swords as it were wild boars. Thus were they fighting nigh an hour. For this Sir Maida was a strong knight, and mightily proved in many strong battles. But at the last this knight smote Sir Maida grovelling upon the earth, and the knight stepped near him to have pulled Sir Maida flatling upon the ground. And therewith suddenly Sir Maida arose, and in his rising he smote that knight through the thick of the thighs that the blood ran out fiercely. Then the knights parters of the list took up Sir Maida, and led him to his tent, and the other knight went straight to the stayfoot where sat King Arthur, and by that time was the queen come to the king, and either kissed other heartily. And when the king saw that knight, he stooped down to him, and thanked him, and in likewise did the queen. And the king prayed him to put off his helmet, and to repose him, and to take a sup of wine. And then he put off his helm to drink, and then every knight knew him that it was Sir Lancelot du Lake. Anon as the king wist that, he took the queen in his hand, and yode unto Sir Lancelot, and said, Sir, grant mercy of your great travail that ye have had this day for me and for my queen. My lord, said Sir Lancelot, wit ye well I ought of right ever to be in your quarrel, and in my lady the queen's quarrel, to do battle. For ye are the man that gave me the high order of knighthood, and that day my lady, your queen, did me great worship, and else I had been shamed. For that same day ye made me knight. Through my hastiness I lost my sword, and my lady, your queen, found it, and lapped it in a train, and gave me my sword when I had need thereto. And else had I been shamed among all knights. And therefore, my lord Arthur, I promise her at that day ever to be a knight and ride out her in wrong. Grant mercy, said the king, for this journey, and wit ye well, said the king, I shall acquit your goodness. And ever the queen beheld Sir Lancelot, and wept so tenderly that she sank almost to the ground for sorrow that he had done to her so great goodness, where she showed him great unkindness. Then the knights of his blood drew unto him, and they either of them made great joy of other. And so came all the knights of the Table Round that were there at that time, and welcomed him. And then Sir Maida was had to leechcraft, and Sir Lancelot was healed of his wound. And then there was made great joy and mirth in that court. Chapter 8. How the truth was known by the Maiden of the Lake, and of divers other matters. And so it befell that the damosel of the lake, her name was Nimue, the which wedded the good knight Sir Pelleas, and so she came to the court. For ever she did great goodness unto King Arthur, and to all his knights through her sorcery and enchantments. And so when she heard how the queen was angered for the death of Sir Patrise, then she told it openly that she was never guilty. And there she disclosed by whom it was done, and named him Sir Penel, and for what cause he did it. There it was openly disclosed, and so the queen was excused, and the knight Penel fled into his country. Then was it openly known that Sir Penel poisoned the apples at the feast to that intent to have destroyed Sir Gawain, because Sir Gawain and his brethren destroyed Sir Lamorak de Gales, to the which Sir Penel was cousin unto. Then was Sir Patrise buried in the church of Westminster in a tomb, and thereupon was written, Here lies Sir Patrise of Ireland, slain by Sir Pinel the Savage, that empoisoned apples to have slain Sir Gawain, and by misfortune Sir Patrise ate one of those apples, and then suddenly he brast. Also there was written upon the tomb that Queen Guinevere was appealed of treason of the death of Sir Patrise by Sir Maida de la Porte. And there was made mention how Sir Lancelot fought with him for Queen Guinevere, and overcame him in plain battle. All this was written upon the tomb of Sir Patrise in excusing of the queen. And then Sir Maida sued daily and long, to have the queen's good grace. And so by the means of Sir Lancelot he caused him to stand in the queen's good grace, and all was forgiven. So King Arthur made him ready to depart to these jousts, and would have had the queen with him. But at that time she would not, she said, for she was sick and might not ride at that time. That me repenteth, said the king, for this 7 years ye saw not such a noble fellowship together except at Whitsuntide, when Galahad departed from the court. Truly, said the queen to the king, ye must hold me excused, I may not be there, and that me repenteth. And many deemed the queen would not be there because of Sir Lancelot du Lake, for Sir Lancelot would not ride with the king, for he said that he was not whole of the wound which Sir Maida had given him. Wherefore the king was heavy and passing wroth. And so he departed toward Winchester with his fellowship. And so by the way the king lodged in a town called Astolat, that is now in English called Guildford, and there the king lay in the castle. So when the king was departed, the queen called Sir Lancelot to her, and said thus, Sir Lancelot, ye are greatly to blame thus to hold you behind my lord. What, trow ye, what will your enemies and mine say and deem? Naught else but, see how Sir Lancelot holdeth him ever behind the king, and so doth the queen, for that they would have their pleasure together. And thus will they say, said the queen to Sir Lancelot, have ye no doubt thereof? Madam, said Sir Lancelot, I allow your wit, it is of late come since ye were wise. And therefore, madam, at this time I will be ruled by your counsel, and this night I will take my rest, and tomorrow by time I will take my way toward Winchester. But wit you well, said Sir Lancelot to the queen, that at that joust I will be against the king, and against all his fellowship. Ye may there do as ye list, said the queen, but by my counsel ye shall not be against your king and your fellowship. For therein be full many hard knights of your blood, as you wot well enough. It needeth not to rehearse them. Madam, said Sir Lancelot, I pray you that ye be not displeased with me, for I will take the adventure that God will send me. And so upon the morn early Sir Lancelot heard mess and brake his fast, and so took his leave of the queen and departed. And then he rode so much until he came to Astolat, that is Guildford, and there happed him in the eventide he came to an old baron's place that hight Sir Bernard of Astolat. And as Sir Lancelot entered into his lodging, King Arthur espied him as he did walk in a garden beside the castle, how he took his lodging, and knew him full well. It is well, said King Arthur unto the knights that were with him in that garden beside the castle, I have now espied one knight that will play his play at the joust to the which we be gone toward. I undertake he will do marvels. So when Sir Lancelot was in his lodging, and unarmed him in his chamber, the old baron and hermit came to him making his reverence, and welcomed him in the best manner. But the old knight knew not Sir Lancelot. Fair sir, said Sir Lancelot to his host, I would pray you to lend me a shield that were not openly known, for mine is well known. Sir, said his host, ye shall have your desire, for meseemeth ye be one of the likeliest knights of the world, and therefore I shall show you friendship. Sir, wit you well I have 2 sons that were but late made knights, and the eldest hight Sir Tor, and he was hurt that same day he was made knight, that he may not ride, and his shield ye shall have, for that is not known I dare say but here, and in no place else. And my youngest son hight Lavaine, and if it please you, he shall ride with you unto that joust, and he is of his age strong and white. For much my heart giveth unto you that ye should be a noble knight. Therefore I pray you, tell me your name, said Sir Bernard. As for that, said Sir Lancelot, ye must hold me excuses at this time, and if God give me grace to speed well at the joust, I shall come again and tell you. But I pray you, said Sir Lancelot, in any wise let me have your son, Sir Lavaine, with me, and that I may have his brother's shield. All this shall be done, said Sir Bernard. This old baron had a daughter that was called that time the Fair Maiden of Astolat, and ever she beheld Sir Lancelot wonderfully. And as the book saith, she cast such a love unto Sir Lancelot that she could never withdraw her love, wherefore she died, and her name was Elaine LeBlanc. So thus as she came to and fro, she was so hot in her love that she besought Sir Lancelot to wear upon him at the joust a token of hers. Fair damosel, said Sir Lancelot, and if I grant you that, ye may say I do more for your love than ever I did for lady or damosel. Then he remembered him he would go to the joust disguised, and because he had never for that time borne no men of token of no damosel, then he bethought him that he would bear one of her, that none of his blood thereby might know him. And then he said, Fair maiden, I will grant you to wear a token of yours upon mine helmet, and therefore what it is, show it me. Sir, she said, it is a red sleeve of mine, of scarlet, well embroidered with great pearls. And so she brought it him. So Sir Lancelot received it, and said, Never did I erst so much for no damos. And then Sir Lancelot betook the fair maiden his shield in keeping, and prayed her to keep that until that he came again. And so that night he had merry rest in great cheer, for ever the damosel Elaine was about Sir Lancelot, all the while she might be suffered. Chapter 10. How the tourney began at Winchester, and what knights were at the jousts, and other things. So upon a day, on the morn, King Arthur and all his knights departed, for their king had tarried 3 days to abide his noble knights. And so when the king was ridden, Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine made them ready to ride, and either of them had white shields, and the red sleeve Sir Lancelot let carry with him. And so they took their leave at Sir Bernard, the old baron, and at his daughter, the fair maiden of Astolat. And then they rode so long till that they came to Camelot, that time called Winchester, and there was great press of kings, dukes, earls, and barons, and many noble knights. But there Sir Lancelot was lodged privily by the means of Sir Lavaine with a rich burgess, that no man in that town was ware what they were. And so they reposed them there till Our Lady Day, Assumption, as the great feast should be. So then trumpets blew unto the field, and King Arthur was set on high upon a scaffold to behold who did best. But as the French book saith, the king would not suffer Sir Gawain to go from him. For never had Sir Gawain the better and Sir Lancelot were in the field, and many times was Sir Gawain rebuked when Lancelot came into any joust disguised. Then some of the kings, as King Anguish of Ireland and the King of Scots, were that time turned upon the side of King Arthur. And then on the other party was the King of Northgales, and the King with the 100 knights, and the King of Northumberland, and Sir Galahad, the Haut Prince. But these 3 kings and this duke were passing weak to hold against King Arthur's party, for with him were the noblest knights of the world. So then they withdrew them either party from other, and every man made him ready in his best manner to do what he might. Then Sir Lancelot made him ready, and put the red sleeve upon his head, and fastened it fast. And so Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine departed out of Winchester privily, and rode until a little leaved were behind the party that held against King Arthur's party, and there they held them still till the parties smote together. And then came in the King of Scots and the King of Ireland on Arthur's party, and against them came the King of Northumberland. And the king with the 100 knights smote down the King of Northumberland, and the king with the 100 knights smote down King Anguish of Ireland. Then Sir Palomides that was on Arthur's party encountered with Sir Galahad, and either of them smote down other, and either party helped their lords on horseback again. So there began a strong assail upon both parties. And then came in Sir Brandiles, Sir Sagramore le Desirous, Sir Dodinas le Savage, Sir Kay le Seneschal, Sir Gryfort le Fise de Dieu, Sir Mordred, Sir Milia de Logris, Sir Ozena le Cure Hardy, Sir Sophia, Sir Epinogris, Sir Gelerin of Galway. All these 15 knights were knights of the Table Round. So these with more other came in together, and beat aback the King of Northumberland and the King of Northgales. When Sir Lancelot saw this, as he hoved in a little leaved wood, then he said unto Sir Lavaine, See yonder is a company of good knights, and they hold them together as bulls that would chafe with dogs. That is truth, said Sir Lavaine. Chapter 11. How Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine entered in the field against them of King Arthur's court, and how Lancelot was hurt. Now, said Sir Lancelot, and ye will help me a little. Ye shall see yonder fellowship that chasteth now these men in our side, that they shall go as fast backward as they went forward. Sir, spare not, said Sir Lavaine, for I shall do what I may. Then Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine came in at the thickest of the press, and there Sir Lancelot smote down Sir Brandiles, Sir Sagramore, Sir Dodinas, Sir Kay, Sir Griflet, and all this he did with one spear. And Sir Lavaine smote down Sir Lucan the butler and Sir Bedevere. And then Sir Lancelot get another spear, and they smote down Sir Agravaine, Sir Gaheris, and Sir Mordred, and Sir Meliad de Logris. And Sir Lavaine smote Ozena le Cure Hardy. And then Sir Lancelot drew his sword, and they smote on the right hand and on the left hand, and by great force he unhorsed Sir Saphir, Sir Eponogris, and Sir Gelerin. And then the knights of the Table Round withdrew them aback, after they had gotten their horses as well as they might. O mercy Jesu, said Sir Gawain, what knight is yonder that does so marvellous deeds of arms in that field? I wot well what he is, said King Arthur, but as at this time I will not name him. Sir, said Sir Gawain, I would say it was Sir Lancelot by his riding and his buffet that I see him deal, but ever meseemeth it should not be he, for that he beareth the red sleeve upon his head. For I wis him never bear token at no joust, of lady nor gentlewomen. Let him be, said King Arthur, he will be better known, and do more, or ever he depart. Then the party that was against King Arthur were well comforted, and then they held them together that beforehand was sore rebuked. Then Sir Bors, Sir Ector de Maris, and Sir Lionel called unto them the knights of their blood, as Sir Blamor de Gonis, Sir Bleoberis, Sir Aladuke, Sir Geliad, Sir Galihodin, Sir Belanger le Beuse. So these 9 knights of Sir Lancelot's kin thrust in mightily, for they were all noble knights, and they, of great hate and despite that they had unto him, thought to rebuke that noble knight Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine, for they knew them not. And so they came hurling together, and smote down many knights of Northgales and of Northumberland. And when Sir Lancelot saw them fare so, he gat a spear in his hand, and there encountered with him all at once Sir Bors, Sir Ector, and Sir Lionel, and all they 3 smote him at once with their spears. And with force of themselves they smote Sir Lancelot's horse to the earth, and by misfortune Sir Bors smote Sir Lancelot through the shield into the side, and the spear brake, and the head left still in his side. When Sir Lavaine saw his master lie on the ground, he ran to the King of Scots and smote him to the earth, and by great force he took his horse, and brought him to Sir Lancelot, and maugre of them all he made him to mount upon that horse. And then Lancelot got a spear in his hand, and there he smote Sir Bors, horse and man, to the earth. In the same wise he served Sir Ector and Sir Lionel, and Sir Lavaine smote down Sir Blamor de Ganis. And then Sir Lancelot drew his sword, for he felt himself so sore why-hurt that he weened there to have had his death. And then he smote Sir Bleoberis such a buffet on the helm that he fell down to the earth in a swoon. And in the same wise he served Sir Aladuke and Sir Galahad. And Sir Lavaine smote down Sir Belanger, that was the son of Uly's Ender le Phelan, and by this was Sir Bors' host. And then he came with Sir Ector and Sir Lionel, and all they 3 smote with swords upon Sir Lancelot's helmet. And when he felt their buffet and his wound, the which was so grievous, then he thought to do what he might while he might endure. And then he gave Sir Bors such a buffet that he made him bow his head passing low, and therewithal he raised off his helm, and might have slain him, and so pulled him down, and in the same wise he served Sir Ector and Sir Lionel. For as the book saith, he might have slain them, but when he saw their visages, his heart might not serve him thereto, but left them there. And then afterward he hurled into the thickest press of them all, and did there the marvellous deeds of arms that ever man saw or heard speak of, and ever Sir Lavaine, the good knight, with him. And there Sir Lancelot with his sword smote down and pulled down, as the French book maketh mention, more than 30 knights, and the most part were of the Table Round. And Sir Lavaine did full well that day, for he smote down 10 knights of the Table Round. Chapter 12. How Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine departed out of the field, and in what jeopardy Lancelot was. Mercy Jesu, said Sir Gawain to Arthur, I marvel what knight that he is with the red sleeve. So, Said King Arthur, he will be known or he depart. And then the king blew unto lodging, and the prize was given by heralds unto the knight with the white shield that bare the red sleeve. Then came the king with 100 knights, the king of Northgalis, and the king of Northumberland, and Sir Galahad, the haut prince, and said unto Sir Lancelot, Fair knight, God thee bless. Full much have ye done this day for us. Therefore we pray you that ye will come with us that ye may receive the honour and the prize as ye have worshipfully deserved it. My fair lords, said Sir Lancelot, wit you well if I have deserved thanks I have so bought it, and that me repenteth, for I am like never to escape with my life. Therefore, fair lords, I pray that ye will suffer me to depart where me liketh, for I am sore hurt. I take none force of none honour, for I had liefer to repose me than to be lord of all the world. And therewithal he groaned piteously, and rode a great wallop awayward from them until he came under a wood side. And when he saw that he was from the field nigh a mile, that he was sure he might not be seen, then he said with an high voice, O gentle knight, Sir Lavaine, help me that this truncheon were out of my side, for it sticketh so sore that it nigh slieth me. O mine own lord, said Sir Lavaine, I would fain do that might please you, but I dread me so when I pull out the truncheon that ye shall be in peril of death. I charge you, said Sir Lancelot, as ye love me, draw it out. And therewithal he descended from his horse, and right so did Sir Lavaine, and forthwithal Sir Lavaine drew the truncheon out of his side, and he gave a great shriek and a marvellous grisly groan, and the blood brast out nigh a pine at once, that at the last he sank down upon his buttocks, and so swooned pale and deadly. Alas, said Sir Lavaine, what shall I do? And then he turned Sir Lancelot into the wind, but so he lay there nigh half an hour as he had been dead. And so at the last Sir Lancelot cast up his eyes, and said, O Lavaine, help me that I were on my horse, for here is fast by within this 2 mile a gentle hermit that sometime was a full noble knight and a great lord of possessions. And for great goodness he hath taken him to wilful poverty, and forsaken many lands. And his name is a Bordwin of Brittany, and he is a full noble surgeon and a good leech. Now let's see, help me up that I were they, for ever my heart giveth me that I shall never die of my cousin Germain's hands. And then with great pain Sir Lavaine helped him upon his horse. And then they rode a great wallop together, and ever Sir Lancelot bled that it ran down to the earth. And so by fortune they came to that hermitage which was under a wood, and a great cliff on the other side, and a fair water running under it. And then Sir Lavaine beat on the gate with the butt of his spear, and cried fast, Let in for Jesu's sake. And there came a fair child to them, and asked them what they would. Fair son, said Sir Lavaine, go and pray thy lord, the hermit, for God's sake to let in here a knight that is full so wounded. And this day tell thy lord I saw him do more deeds of arms than ever I heard say that any man did. So the child went in lightly, and then he brought the hermit, the which was a passing good man. When Sir Lavaine saw him, he prayed him for God's sake of succour. What knight is he? Said the hermit, Is he of the house of King Arthur, or not? I wot not, said Sir Lavaine. What is he? Nor what is his name? But well I what I saw him do marvellously this day as of deeds of arms. On whose party was he? Said the hermit, Sir, said Sir Lavaine, he was this day against King Arthur, and there he won the prize of all the knights of the Round Table. I have seen the day, said the hermit. I would have loved him the worse because he was against my lord, King Arthur. For some time I was one of the fellowship of the Round Table, but I thank God now I am otherwise disposed. But where is he? Let me see him. Then Sir Lavaine brought the hermit to him. Chapter 13. How Lancelot was brought to an hermit for to be healed of his wound, and of other matters. And when the hermit beheld him, as he sat leaning upon his saddle-bow, ever bleeding piteously, and ever the knight hermit thought that he should know him, but he could not bring him to knowledge because he was so pale for bleeding. What knight are ye? Said the hermit, and where were ye born? My fair lord, said Sir Lancelot, I am a stranger and a knight adventurous, that labour throughout many realms for to win worship. Then the hermit advised him better, and saw by a wound on his cheek that he was Sir Lancelot. Alas, said the hermit, mine own lord, why lane you your name from me? Forsooth I ought to know you aright, for ye are the most noblest knight of the world, for well I know you for Sir Lancelot. Sir, said he, sith ye know me, help me and ye may, for God's sake, for I will be out of this pain at once, either to death or to life. Have ye no doubt, said the hermit, Ye shall live and fare right well. And so the hermit called to him 2 of his servants. And so he and his servants bare him into the hermitage, and lightly unarmed him, and laid him in his bed. And then anon the hermit stanched his blood, and made him to drink good wine, so that Sir Lancelot was well refreshed and knew himself. For in those days it was not the guise of hermits as is nowadays, for there were none hermits in those days, but that they had been men of worship and of prowess. And those hermits held great household, and refreshed people that were in distress. Truly, said they all, we know not his name, nor from whence he came, nor whither he would. Alas, said the king, this be to me the worst tidings that came to me this 7 year. For I would not for all the lands I wield to know, and would it was so that that noble knight was slain. Know ye him? Said they all. As for that, said Arthur, whether I know him or know him not, ye shall not know from me what man he is. But Almighty Jesu send me good tidings of him. And so said they all. By my head, said Sir Gawain, if it so be that the good knight be so sore hurt, it is great damage and pity to all this land. For he is one of the noblest knights that ever I saw in a field handle a spear or sword. And if he may be found, I shall find him, for I am sure he is not far from this town. Bear you well, said King Arthur, and ye may find him, unless that he be in such a plight that he may not wield himself. Jesu defend, said Sir Gawain, but would I shall what he is, and I may find him. Right so Sir Gawain took a squire with him upon hackneys, and rode all about Camelot within 6 or 7 mile. But so he came again, and could hear no word of him. Then within 2 days King Arthur and all the fellowship returned unto London again. And so as they rode by the way, it happed Sir Gawain at Astolat to lodge with Sir Bernard Darius was Sir Lancelot lodged. And so as Sir Gawain was in his chamber to repose him, Sir Bernard, the old baron, came unto him, and his daughter Elaine, to cheer him and to ask him what tidings, and who did best at that tournament of Winchester. Nay, truly, said the damosel, I know not his name nor from whence he cometh. But to say that I love him, I promise you in God that I love him. How had he knowledge of him first? Said Sir Gawain. Then she told him as he have heard tofore, and how her father betook him her brother to do him service, and how her father lent him her brother's, Sir Ter's, shield, and here with me he left his own shield. For what cause did he so? Said Sir Gawain. For this cause, said the damosel, for his shield was too well known among many noble knights. Ah, fair damosel, said Sir Gawain, please that you let me have a sight of that shield. Sir, said she, it is in my chamber, covered with a case, and if ye will come with me ye shall see it. Not so, said Sir Bernard till his daughter, let's send for it. So when the shield was come, Sir Gawain took off the case, and when he beheld that shield he knew anon that it was Sir Lancelot's shield, and his own arms. Ah, Jesu mercy, said Sir Gawain, now is my heart more heavy than ever it was tofore. Why? Said Elaine. For I have great cause, said Sir Gawain. Is that knight that oweth his shield your love? Yea, truly, said she, my love he is. God would I were his love. So God me speed, said Sir Gawain. Fair damosel, ye have right. For when it be your love, ye love the most honourable knight of the world, and the man of most worship. So methought ever, said the damosel, for never that time, for no knight that ever I saw, loved I never none erst. I say not so, said Sir Gawain, but wit ye well he is grievously wounded, by all manner of signs, and by men's sight more likely to be dead than to be alive. And wit ye well he is a noble knight, Sir Lancelot, for by this shield I know him. Alas, said the fair maiden of Astolat, how may this be, and what was his hurt? Truly, said Sir Gawain, the man in the world that loved him best hurt him so. And I dare say, said Sir Gawain, and that knight that hurt him knew the very certainty that he had hurt Sir Lancelot, it would be the most sorrow that ever came to his heart. Now, fair father, said then Elaine, I require you give me leave to ride and to seek him, or else I wot well I shall go out of my mind, for I shall never stint till I find him and my brother, Sir Lavaine. Do as it liketh you, said her father, for me sore repenteth of the hurt of that noble knight. Right so the maid made her ready, and before Sir Gawain, making great dole. Then on the morn Sir Gawain came to King Arthur, and told him how he had found Sir Lancelot's shield in the keeping of the fair maiden of Astolat. All that knew I aforehand, said King Arthur, and that caused me I would not suffer you to have ado at the great joust, For I espied, said King Arthur, when he came into his lodging full late in the evening in a stillat. But marvel have I, said Arthur, that ever he would bear any sign of any damos. For or now I never heard say nor knew that ever he bare any token of none earthly woman. By my head, said Sir Gawain, the fair maiden of Astolat loveth him marvellously well. What it meaneth I cannot say, and she is ridden out for to seek him. So the king and all came to London. And there Sir Gawain openly disclosed to all the court that it was Sir Lancelot that jousted best. Why, Sir Bors, said she, should I not call him traitor when he bare the red sleeve upon his head at Winchester, at the great jousts? Madam, said Sir Bors, that sleeve-bearing repenteth me sore, but I dare say he did it to none evil intent. But for this cause he bare the red sleeve, that none of his blood should know him. For then we, nor none of us all, never knew that ever he bare token or sign of maid, lady, any gentlewoman. Fie on him, said the queen, yet for all his pride and bowborns that ye proved yourself is better. Nay, madam, say ye never more so, for he beat me and my fellows, and might have slain us an he had would. Fie on him, said the queen, for I heard Sir Gawain say before my lord Arthur that it were marvel to tell the great love that is between the fair maiden of a stillat and him. Madam, said Sir Bors, I may not warn Sir Gawain to say what it pleased him, but I dare say, as for my lord, Sir Lancelot, that he loveth no lady, gentlewoman, no maid, but all he loveth in like much. And therefore, madam, said Sir Bors, ye may say what ye will, but wit ye well I will haste me to seek him, and find him wheresoever he be, and God send me good tidings of him. And so leave we them there, and speak we of Sir Lancelot that lay in great peril. So as fair Elaine came to Winchester, she sought there all about, and by fortune Sir Lavaine was ridden to play him, to enchafe his horse. And anon as Elaine saw him she knew him, and then she cried aloud until him. And when he heard her anon he came to her, and then she asked her brother how did my lord, Sir Lancelot, who told you, sister, that my lord's name was Sir Lancelot. Then she told him how Sir Gawain by his shield knew him. So they rode together till that they came to the hermitage, and anon she alighted. So Sir Lavaine brought her into Sir Lancelot. And when she saw him lie so sick and pale in his bed, she might not speak. But suddenly she fell to the earth down suddenly in a swoon, and there she lay a great while. And when she was relieved, she shrieked and said, My lord, Sir Lancelot, alas, why be ye in this plight? And then she swooned again. And then Sir Lancelot prayed Sir Lavaine to take her up, and bring her to me. And when she came to herself, Sir Lancelot kissed her, and said, Fair maiden, why fare ye thus? Ye put me to pain. Wherefore make ye no more such cheer? For when ye be come to comfort me, ye be right welcome. And of this little hurt that I have, I shall be right hastily whole by the grace of God. But I marvel, said Sir Lancelot, who told you my name? Then the fair maiden told him all how Sir Gawain was lodged with her father, and there by your shield he discovered your name. Alas, said Sir Lancelot, that me repenteth that my name is known, for I am sure it will turn unto anger. And then Sir Lancelot compassed in his mind that Sir Gawain would tell Queen Guinevere how he bare the red sleeve, and for whom, that he wist well would turn into great anger. So this maiden Elaine never went from Sir Lancelot, but watched him day and night, and did such attendance to him, that the French book said there was never woman did more kindlier for man than she. Then Sir Lancelot prayed Sir Lavaine to make aspies in Winchester for Sir Bors if he came there, and told him by what tokens he should know him, by a wound in his forehead. For well I am sure, said Sir Lancelot, that Sir Bors will seek me, for he is the same good knight that hurt me. Chapter 16. How Sir Bors sought Lancelot, and found him in the hermitage, and of the lamentation between them. Now turn we unto Sir Bors de Ganis, that came unto Winchester to seek after his cousin Sir Lancelot. And so when he came to Winchester, anon there were men that Sir Lavaine had made to lie in a watch for such a man, and anon Sir Lavaine had warning. And then Sir Lavaine came to Winchester and found Sir Bors, and they told him what he was, and with whom he was, and what was his name. Now, fair knight, said Sir Bors, I require you that ye will bring me to my lord, Sir Lancelot. Sir, said Sir Lavaine, take your horse, and within this hour ye shall see him. And so they departed, and came to the hermitage. And when Sir Bors saw Sir Lancelot lie in his bed pale and discoloured, anon Sir Bors lost his countenance, and for kindness and pity he might not speak, but wept tenderly a great while. And then when he might speak, he said thus, O my lord, Sir Lancelot, God you bless, and send you haste to recover, and full heavy am I of my misfortune and of mine unhappiness. For now I may call myself unhappy. And I dread me that God is greatly displeased with me, that he would suffer me to have such a shame for the hurt you that are all our leader and all our worship. And therefore I call myself unhappy. Alas, that ever such a caitiff knight as I am should have power by unhappiness to hurt the most noblest knight of the world. Where I so shamefully set upon you and overcharged you, and where ye might have slain me, ye saved me. And so did not I, for I and your blood did to you our utterance. I marvel, said Sir Bors, that my heart or my blood would serve me. Wherefore, my lord, Sir Lancelot, I ask your mercy. Fair cousin, said Sir Lancelot, ye be right welcome, and wit ye well, overmuch ye say for to please me, the which pleaseth me not, for why I have the same I sought. For I would with pride have overcome you all, and there in my pride I was near slain, and that was in mine own default, for I might have given you warning of my being there, and then had I had no hurt. For it is an old said so, there is hard battle there as kin and friends do battle either against other. There may be no mercy but mortal war. Therefore, fair cousin, said Sir Lancelot, let this speech overpass, and all shall be welcome that God sendeth. And let us leave off this matter, and let us speak of some rejoicing, for this that is done may not be undone. And let us find a remedy how soon that I may be whole. Then Sir Bors leaned upon his bedside, and told Sir Lancelot how the queen was passing rough with him, because he wore the red sleeve at the great jousts. And there Sir Bors told him all how Sir Gawain discovered it, by your shield that ye left with the fair maiden of Astolat. Then is the queen wroth, said Sir Lancelot, and therefore am I right heavy, for I deserved no wrath, for all that I did was because I would not be known. Right so excuse I you, said Sir Bors, but all was in vain, for she said more largely to me than I to you now. But is this she, said Sir Bors, that is so busy about you, that men call the fair maiden of Astolat? She it is, said Sir Lancelot, that by no means I cannot put her from me. Why should ye put her from you? Said Sir Bors, she is a passing fair damosel, and a well beseen, and well taught, and God would, fair cousin, said Sir Bors, that ye could love her, but as to that I may not, nor I dare not, counsel you. But I see well, said Sir Bors, by a diligence about you that she loveth you entirely. That me repenteth, said Sir Lancelot. Sir, said Sir Bors, she is not the first that hath lost a pain upon you, and that is the more pity. And so they talked of many more things. And so within 3 days or 4 Sir Lancelot was big and strong again. Chapter 17. How Sir Lancelot armed him to essay if he might bear arms, and how his wounds brast out again. Then Sir Bors told Sir Lancelot how there was sworn a great tournament and joust betwixt King Arthur and the King of Northgalis, that should be upon All Hallowmas Day, beside Winchester. Is that truth? Said Sir Lancelot. Then shall ye abide with me still a little while until that I be whole, for I feel myself right big and strong. Blessed be God, said Sir Bors. Then were they there nigh a month together, and ever this maiden Elaine did ever her diligent labour night and day unto Sir Lancelot, that there was never child nor wife more meeker to her father and husband than was that fair maiden of Astolat. Wherefore Sir Bors was greatly pleased with her. So upon a day, by the assent of Sir Lancelot, Sir Bors, and Sir Lavaine, they made the hermit to seek in woods for divers herbs. And so Sir Lancelot made fair Elaine to gather herbs for him to make him a bane. In the meanwhile Sir Lancelot made him to arm him at all pieces, and there he thought to essay his arm and his spear, for his hurt or not. And so when he was upon his horse he stirred him fiercely, and the horse was passing lusty and fresh because he was not laboured a month afore. And then Sir Lancelot couched that spear in the rest. That courser leapt mightily when he felt the spurs, and he that was upon him, the which was the noblest horse of the world, strained him mightily and stably, and kept still the spear in the rest. And therewith Sir Lancelot strained himself so straitly, with so great force, to get the horse forward, that the button of his wound brast both within and without. And therewithal the blood came out so fiercely that he felt himself so feeble that he might not sit upon his horse. And then Sir Lancelot cried unto Sir Bors, Ah, Sir Bors and Sir Lavaine, help, for I am come to mine end. And therewith he fell down on the one side to the earth like a dead corpse. And then Sir Bors and Sir Lavaine came to him with sorrow-making out of measure. And so by fortune the maiden Elaine heard their mourning, and then she came thither. And when she found Sir Lancelot there armed in that place, she cried and wept as she had been wood. And then she kissed him, and did what she might to awake him. And then she rebuked her brother and Sir Bors, and called them false traitors, might they would take him out of his bed. There she cried, and said she would appeal them of his death. With this came the holy hermit, Sir Bordwin of Brittany, and when he found Sir Lancelot in that plight, he said but little, but wit ye well he was wroth. And then he bade them, let us have him in. And so they all bare him unto the hermitage, and unarmed him, and laid him in his bed, and evermore his wound bled piteously, but he stirred no limb of him. Then the knight hermit put a thing in his nose, and a little deal of water in his mouth. And then Sir Lancelot waked of his swoon, and then the hermit stanched his bleeding. And when he might speak, he asked Sir Lancelot why he put his life in jeopardy. Sir, said Sir Lancelot, because I weened I had been strong. And also Sir Bors told me that there should be at all Hallowmas a great joust betwixt King Arthur and the King of Northgalis. And therefore I thought to assay it myself whether I might be there or not. Ah, Sir Lancelot, said the hermit, your heart and your courage will never be done until your last day, but ye shall do now by my counsel. Let Sir Bors depart from you, and let him do at that tournament what he may. And by the grace of God, said the knight hermit, by that the tournament be done and ye come hither again, Sir Lancelot shall be as whole as ye, so that he will be governed by me. Chapter 18. How Sir Bors returned and told tidings of Sir Lancelot, and of the tourney, and to whom the prize was given. Then Sir Bors made him ready to depart from Sir Lancelot. And then Sir Lancelot said, Fair cousin, Sir Bors, recommend me unto all them unto whom ye ought to recommend me unto. And I pray you, enforce yourself for that joust that ye may be best, for my love. And here shall I abide you at the mercy of God till ye come again. And so Sir Bors departed and came to the court of King Arthur, and told them in what place he had left Sir Lancelot. That me repenteth, said the king, but since he shall have his life, we all may thank God. And there Sir Bors told the queen in what jeopardy Sir Lancelot was when he would essay his horse. And all that he did, madam, was for the love of you, because he would have been at this tournament. Fie on him, recreant knight, said the queen, for wit ye well I am right sorry, and he shall have his life. His life shall he have, said Sir Bors, and who that would otherwise, except you, madam, would it be of his blood should help to short their lives. But madam, said Sir Bors, ye have been oft times displeased with my lord, Sir Lancelot, but all times at the end ye find him a true knight. And so he departed. And then every knight of the round table that were there at that time present made them ready to be at that joust at all Hallowmas, and thither drew many knights of divers countries. And as all Hallowmas drew near, thither came the King of Northgalis, and the King with the 100 knights, and Sir Galahad, the Haut Prince of Surlis, and thither came King Anguish of Ireland, and the King of Scots. So these 3 kings came on King Arthur's party. And so that day Sir Gawain did great deeds of arms, and began first. And the heralds numbered that Sir Gawain smote down 20 knights. Then Sir Bors de Ganis came in the same time, and he was numbered that he smote down 20 knights, and therefore the prize was given betwixt them both, for they began first and longest endued. Also Sir Gareth, as the book saith, did that day great deeds of arms, for he smote down and pulled down 30 knights. But when he had done these deeds, he tarried not, but so departed, and therefore he lost his prize. And Sir Palomides did great deeds of arms that day, for he smote down 20 knights, but he departed suddenly, and men deemed Sir Gareth, and he rode together to some manner adventures. So when this tournament was done, Sir Bors departed and rode till he came to Sir Lancelot, his cousin, and then he found him walking on his feet, and they either made great joy of other. And so Sir Bors told Sir Lancelot of all the jousts like as ye have heard. I marvel, said Sir Lancelot, that Sir Gareth, when he had done such deeds of arms, that he would not tarry. Thereof we marvelled all, said Sir Bors, for but if it were you, or Sir Tristram, or Sir Lamorak de Gales, I saw never knight bear down so many in so little while as did Sir Gareth, and anon he was gone we wist not where. By my head, said Sir Lancelot, he is a noble knight, and a mighty man and well-breathed. And if he were well assayed, said Sir Lancelot, I would deem he were good enough for any knight that beareth the life. And he is a gentle knight, courteous, true, and bounteous, meek and mild, and in him is no manner of malengin, but plain, faithful, and true. Chapter 19 doth of the great lamentation of the fair maid of Astolat when Lancelot should depart, and how she died for his love. My lord, Sir Lancelot, now I see you will depart. Now, fair knight and courteous knight, have mercy upon me, and suffer me not to die for thy love. What would ye that I did? Said Sir Lancelot. I would have you to my husband, said Elaine. Fair damosel, I thank you, said Sir Lancelot, but truly, said he, I cast me never to be wedded man. Then, fair knight, said she, will you be my paramour? Jesu defend me, said Sir Lancelot, for then I rewarded your father and your brother full evil for their great goodness. Alas, said she, then must I die for your love. Ye shall not so, said Sir Lancelot, for wit ye well, fair maiden, I might have been married and I had would, but I never plied me to be married yet. But because, fair damosel, that ye love me as ye say ye do, I will for your good will and kindness show you some goodness, and that is this, that wheresoever you will beset your heart upon some good knight that will wed you, I shall give you together 1,000 pound yearly to you and to your aids. Thus much will I give you, fair madam, for your kindness, and always while I live to be your own knight. Of all this, said the maiden, I will none, for but if you will wed me, or else be my paramour at the least, wit you well, Sir Lancelot, my good days are done. Fair damos, said Sir Lancelot, of these two things ye must pardon me. I may not do withal, said Sir Lancelot, for that me sore repenteth, for I report me to yourself, that my proffer is fair, and me repenteth, said Sir Lancelot, that she loveth me as she doth. I was never the cause of it, for I report me to your son I early any late proffered her bounty nor fair behests. And as for me, said Sir Lancelot, I dare do all a knight should do, that she is a clean maiden for me, both for deed and for will. And I am right heavy of her distress, for she is a full fair maiden, good and gentle, and well taught. Father, said Sir Lavaine, I dare make good she is a clean maiden as for my lord Sir Lancelot. But she doth as I do, for so then I first saw my lord Sir Lancelot, I could never depart from him, nor naught I will and I may follow him. Now speak we of the fair maiden of Astolat that made such sorrow day and night that she never slept, ate, nor drank, and ever she made a complaint unto Sir Lancelot. So when she had thus endured 10 days, that she feebled so that she must needs pass out of this world, then she shrived her clean, and received her Creator. And ever she complained still upon Sir Lancelot. Then her ghostly father bade her leave such thoughts. Then she said, Why should I leave such thoughts? Am I not an earthly woman? And all the while the breath is in my body I may complain me, for my belief is I do none offence though I love an earthly man. And I take God to my record I love never none but Sir Lancelot du Lake, nor never shall. And a clean maiden I am for him and for all other. And sithen it is a sufferance of God that I shall die for the love of so noble a knight, I beseech the high Father of heaven to have mercy upon my soul, and upon mine innumerable pains that I suffered may be a legend apart of my sins. For sweet Lord Jesu, said the fair maiden, I take thee to record, on thee I was never great offence against thy laws, but that I loved this noble knight, Sir Lancelot, out of measure, and of myself, good Lord, I might not withstand the fervent love wherefore I have my death. And then she called her father, Sir Bernard, and her brother, Sir Tor, and heartily she prayed her father that her brother might write a letter like as she did indite it. And so her father granted her. And when the letter was written word by word like as she devised, then she prayed her father that she might be watched until she were dead. And while my body is hot, let this letter be put in my right hand, and my hand bound fast with the letter until that I be cold. And let me be put in a fair bed with all the richest clothes that I have about me. And so let my bed and all my richest clothes be laid with me in a chariot unto the next place where Thames is. And there let me be put within a barget, and but one man with me, such as ye trust esteem me thither, and that my barget be covered with black samite over and over. Thus, Father, I beseech you let it be done. So her father granted it her faithfully. All things should be done like as she had devised. Then her father and her brother made great dole, for when this was done anon she died. And so when she was dead, the corpse and the bed all was led the next way unto Thames. And there a man, and the corpse, and all were put into Thames. And so the man steered the barget unto Westminster, and they rode a great while to and fro when he espied it. Chapter 20. How the corpse of the maid of Astolat arrived before King Arthur, and of the burying, and how Sir Lancelot offered the masspenny. So by fortune King Arthur and the Queen Guinevere were speaking together at a window, and so as they looked into Thames they espied this black barget, and had marvel what it meant. Then the king called Sir Kay, and showed it him. So, said Sir Kay, wit you well there are some new tidings. Go thither, said the king to Sir Kay, and take with you Sir Brandiles and Agravain, and bring me ready word what is there. Then these 4 knights departed, and came to the barget, and went in. And there they found the fairest corpse lying in a rich bed, and a poor man sitting in the barget's end, and no word would he speak. So these 4 knights returned unto the king again, and told him what they found. That fair corpse will I see, said the king. And so then the king took the queen by the hand, and went thither. Then the king made the barget to be holden fast, and then the king and the queen entered with certain knights with them. And they saw the fairest woman lie in a rich bed, covered under a middle with many rich clothes, and all was of cloth of gold, and she lay as though she had smiled. Then the queen espied a letter in her right hand, and told it to the king. Then the king took it and said, Now am I sure this letter will tell what she was, and why she is come hither. So then the king and the queen went out of the barget, and so commanded a certain man to wait upon the barget. And so when the king was come within his chamber, he called many knights about him, and said that he would read openly what was written within that letter. Then the king brake it, and made a clerk to read it. And this was the intent of the letter. Most noble knight, Sir Lancelot, now a death made us two at debate for your love. I was your lover, that men called the fair maiden of Astolat. Therefore unto all ladies I make my moan. Yet pray for my soul and bury me at least, and offer ye my messpenny. This is my last request. And a clean maiden I died, I take God to witness. Pray for my soul, Sir Lancelot, as thou art peerless. This was all the substance in the letter. And when it was read, the king, the queen, and all the knights wept for pity of the doleful complaints. Then was Sir Lancelot sent for, and when he was come, King Arthur made the letter to be read to him. And when Sir Lancelot heard it word by word, he said, My lord Arthur, wit ye well I am right heavy of the death of this fair damosel. God knoweth I was never cause of a death by my willing, and that will I report me to her own brother. Here he is, Sir Lavaine. I will not say nay, said Sir Lancelot, but that she was both fair and good, and much I was beholden unto her, but she loved me out of measure. Ye might have showed her, said the queen, some bounty and gentleness that might have preserved her life. Madam, said Sir Lancelot, she would none other ways be answered but that she would be my wife, out her else my paramour, and of these two I would not grant her, but I profit her, for a good love that she showed me, 1,000 pound yearly to her, and to her aids, and to wed any man a knight that she could find best to love in her heart. For, madam, said Sir Lancelot, I love not to be constrained to love, for love must arise of the heart, and not by no constraint. That is truth, said the king, and many knights love is free in himself, and never will be bounden, for where he is bounden he looseth himself. Then said the king unto Sir Lancelot, It will be your worship that ye oversee that she be interred worshipfully. Sir, said Sir Lancelot, that shall be done as I can best devise. And so many knights yet are thither to behold that fair maiden. And so upon the morn she was interred richly, and Sir Lancelot offered her masspenny, and all the knights of the table round that were there at that time offered with Sir Lancelot. And then the poor man went again with the barget. Then the queen sent for Sir Lancelot, and prayed him of mercy, for why that she had been wroth with him causeless. This is not the first time, said Sir Lancelot, that ye have been displeased with me causeless. But, madam, ever I must suffer you, but what sorrow I endure I take no force. So this passed on all that winter, with all manner of hunting and hawking, and jousts and tourneys were many betwixt many great lords, and ever in all places Sir Lavaine get great worship, so that he was nobly renowned among many knights of the Table Round. Chapter 21. Of great jousts done all a Christmas, and of a great joust and tourney ordained by King Arthur, and of Sir Lancelot. Thus it passed until Christmas, and then every day there was jousts made for a diamond, who that jousted best should have a diamond. But Sir Lancelot would not joust, but if it were at a great joust cried. But Sir Lavaine jousted there all that Christmas passingly well, and best was praised, for there were but few that did so well. Wherefore all manner of knights deemed that Sir Lavaine should be made knight of the Table Round at the next feast of Pentecost. So at after Christmas King Arthur let call unto him many knights, and that they advised together to make a party and a great tournament and jousts. And the king of Northgales said to Arthur, he would have on his party King Anguish of Ireland, and the king with 100 knights, and the king of Northumberland, and Sir Galahad, the Holt Prince. And so these 4 kings and this mighty duke took part against King Arthur and the knights of the Table Round. And the cry was made that the day of the joust should be beside Westminster upon Candlemas Day, whereof many knights were glad, and made them ready to be at that joust in the freshest manner. Then Queen Guinevere sent for Sir Lancelot, and said thus, I warn you that ye ride no more in no jousts nor tournaments, but that your kinsmen may know you. And at these jousts that shall be ye shall have of me a sleeve of gold, and I pray you for my sake enforce yourself there, that men may speak of your worship. But I charge you as ye will have my love, that ye warn your kinsmen that ye will bear that day the sleeve of gold upon your helmet. Madam, said Sir Lancelot, it shall be done. And so either made great joy of other. And when Sir Lancelot saw his time, he told Sir Bors that he would depart, and have no more with him but Sir Lavaine, under the good hermit that dwelt in the forest of Windsor. His name was Abrasius, and they thought to repose him, and take all the rest that he might, because he would be fresh at that day of jousts. So Sir Lancelot and Sir Lavaine departed, that no creature which way was become, but the noble men of his blood. And when he was come to the hermitage, wit ye well he had good cheer. And so daily Sir Lancelot would go to a well fast by the hermitage, and there he would lie down, and see the well spring and burble, and sometime he slept there. So at that time there was a lady dwelt in that forest, and she was a great huntress, and daily she used to hunt, and ever she bare a bow with her, and no men went never with her, but always women, and they were shooters, and could well kill a deer, both at the stalk and at the trayest, and they daily bare bows and arrows, horns and wood knives, and many good dogs they had, both for the string and for a bait. So it happed this lady the huntress had abated her dog for the bow at a barren hind, and so this barren hind took to flight over hedges and woods. And ever this lady and part of her women costed the hind, and checked it by the noise of the hounds, to have met with the hind at some water. And so it happed, the hind came to the well whereas Sir Lancelot was sleeping and slumbering. And so when the hind came to the well, for he she went to soil, and there she lay a great while, and the dog came after, and unbecast about, for she had lost a very perfect feud of the hind. Right so came that lady the huntress, that knew by the dog that she had, that the hind was at the soil in that well, and there she came stiffly and found the hind, and she put a broad arrow in a bow, and shot at the hind, and overshot the hind, and so by misfortune the arrow smote Sir Lancelot in the thick of the buttock, over the barbs. When Sir Lancelot felt himself so hurt, he hurled up woodly, and saw the lady that had smitten him. And when he saw she was a woman, he said thus, Lady or damosel, what that thou be, in an evil time bear ye a bow. The devil made you a shooter. Chapter 22. How Lancelot after that he was heard of a gentlewoman came to an hermit, and of other matters. Now mercy, fair sir, said the lady, I am a gentlewoman that useth here in this forest hunting, and God knoweth I saw ye not. But as he was a barren hind the soil in this well, and I ween to have done well, but my hand swerved. Alas, said Sir Lancelot, ye have mischieved me. And so the lady departed. And Sir Lancelot as he might pulled out the arrow, and left that head still in his buttock, and so he went weakly to the hermitage, evermore bleeding as he went. And when Sir Lavaine and the hermit espied that Sir Lancelot was hurt, wit you well they were passing heavy, but Sir Lavaine wist not how that he was hurt nor by whom. And then were they wroth out of measure. Then with great pain the hermit get out the arrow's head out of Sir Lancelot's buttock, and much of his blood he shed. And the wound was passing sore, and unhappily smitten, for it was in such a place that he might not sit in no saddle. Have mercy, Jesu, said Sir Lancelot. I may call myself the most unhappiest man that liveth, for ever when I would fainest have worshipped there befalleth me ever some unhappy thing. Now so Jesu me help, said Sir Lancelot, and if no man would but God, I shall be in the field upon Candlemas Day at the jousts, whatsoever fall of it. So all that might be gotten to heal Sir Lancelot was had. So when the day was come, Sir Lancelot let devise that he was arrayed, and Sir Lavaine, and their horses, as though they had been Saracens. And so they departed and came nigh to the field. The king of Northgalis with 100 knights with him, and the king of Northumberland brought with him 100 good knights, and King Anguish of Ireland brought with him 100 good knights ready to joust, and Sir Galahad, the Hort Prince, brought with him 100 good knights, and the king with the 100 knights brought with him as many, and all these were proved good knights. Then came in King Arthur's party, and there came in the king of Scots with 100 knights, and King Uriens of Gore brought with him 100 knights, and King Howell of Brittany brought with him 100 knights, and Chelanes of Clarence brought with him 100 knights, and King Arthur himself came into the field with 200 knights, and the most part were knights of the Table Round, that were proved noble knights. And there were old knights set in scaffolds to judge, with the queen who did best. Chapter 23. How Sir Lancelot behaved him at the joust, and other men also. Then they blew to the field, and there the king of Northgalis encountered with the king of Scots, and there the king of Scots had a fall, and the king of Ireland smote down King Uriens, and the king of Northumberland smote down King Howell of Brittany, and Sir Galahad, the Hort Prince, smote down Chelanes of Clarence. And then King Arthur was woodwroth, and ran to the king with 100 knights, and there King Arthur smote him down, and after with that same spear King Arthur smote down 3 other knights. And then when his spear was broken, King Arthur did passingly well. And so therewithal came in Sir Gawain and Sir Gaheris, Sir Agravain and Sir Mordred, and they everych of them smote down a knight, and Sir Gawain smote down 4 knights. And then there began a strong medley, for then there came in the knights of Lancelot's blood, and Sir Gareth and Sir Palomides with them, and many knights of the Table Round. And they began to hold the 4 kings and the mighty duke, so hard that they were discomfit. But this Duke Galahad, the Hort Prince, was a noble knight, and by his mighty prowess of arms he held the knights of the Table Round straight enough. All this doing saw Sir Lancelot, and then he came into the field with Sir Lavaine as it had been thunder. And then anon Sir Bors and the knights of his blood espied Sir Lancelot, and said to them all, I warn you beware of him with the sleeve of gold upon his head, for he is himself Sir Lancelot du Lake. And for great goodness Sir Bors warned Sir Gareth. I am well apaid, said Sir Gareth, that I may know him. But who is he, said they all, that readeth with him in the same array? That is the good and gentle knight Sir Lavaine, said Sir Bors. So Sir Lancelot encountered with Sir Gawain, and thereby force Sir Lancelot smote down Sir Gawain and his horse to the earth, and so he smote down Sir Agravain and Sir Gaheris, and also he smote down Sir Mordred, and all this was with 1 spear. Then Sir Lavaine met with Sir Palomides, and either met other so hard and so fiercely that both their horses fell to the earth. And then were they horse again, and then met Sir Lancelot with Sir Palomides, and there Sir Palomides had a fall. And so Sir Lancelot, or ever he stint, as fast as he might get spears, he smote down 30 knights, and the most part of them were knights of the Table Round, and ever the knights of his blood withdrew them, and made them ado in other places where Sir Lancelot came not. And then King Arthur was wroth when he saw Sir Lancelot do such deeds. And then the king called unto him Sir Gawain, Sir Mordred, Sir Kay, Sir Griflet, Sir Lucan the butler, Sir Bedivere, Sir Palomides, Sir Sophia, his brother. And so the king with these 9 knights made them ready to set upon Sir Lancelot and upon Sir Lavaine. All this espied Sir Bors and Sir Gareth. Now I dread me sore, said Sir Bors, that my lord, Sir Lancelot, will be hard matched. By my head, said Sir Gareth, I will ride unto my lord Sir Lancelot, for to help him, fall him what fall may, for he is the same man that made me knight. Ye shall not so, said Sir Bors, by my counsel, unless that ye were disguised. Ye shall see me disguised, said Sir Gareth, and therewithal he espied a Welsh knight where he was to repose him, and he was sore hurtful by Sir Gawain. And to him Sir Gareth rode, and prayed him of his knighthood to lend him his shield for his. I will well, said the Welsh knight. And when Sir Gareth had his shield, the book saith it was green, with a maiden that seemed in it. Then Sir Gareth came driving to Sir Lancelot all that he might, and said, Knight, keep thyself, for yonder cometh King Arthur with 9 noble knights with him to put you to a rebuke, and so I am come to bear you fellowship for old love ye have showed me. Gramercy, said Sir Lancelot. Sir, said Sir Gareth, encounter ye with Sir Gawain, and I shall encounter with Sir Palomides, and let Sir Lavaine match with the noble King Arthur. and when we have delivered them, let us three hold us sadly together. Then came King Arthur with his 9 knights with him. And Sir Lancelot encountered with Sir Gawain, and gave him such a buffet that the arson of his saddle brast, and Sir Gawain fell to the earth. Then Sir Gareth encountered with the good knight Sir Palomides, and he gave him such a buffet that both his horse and he dashed to the earth. Then encountered King Arthur with Sir Lavaine, and there either of them smote other to the earth, horse and all, that they lay a great while. Then Sir Lancelot smote down Sir Agravaine, and Sir Gaheris, and Sir Mordred, and Sir Gareth smote down Sir Kay, and Sir Sophie, and Sir Griflet. And then Sir Lavaine was hoarse again, and he smote down Sir Lucan the butler and Sir Bedevere, and then there began great throng of good knights. Then Sir Lancelot hurtled here and there, and raced and pulled off helms, so that at that time there might none sit him a buffet with spear nor with sword. And Sir Gareth did such deeds of arms that all men marvelled what knight he was with a green shield, for he smote down that day and pulled down more than 30 knights. And, as the French book saith, Sir Lancelot marvelled, when he beheld Sir Gareth do such deeds, what knight he might be. And Sir Lavaine pulled down and smote down 20 knights. Also Sir Lancelot knew not Sir Gareth, for in Sir Tristram de Lions, out how Sir Lamorak de Gales had been alive, Sir Lancelot would have deemed he had been one of them twain. So ever as Sir Lancelot Sir Gareth, Sir Lavaine fought, and on the one side Sir Bors, Sir Ector de Maris, Sir Lionel, Sir Lamorak de Gales, Sir Bleoberis, Sir Galahad, Sir Galahodin, Sir Pellas, and with mo other of King Ban's blood fought upon another party, and held the king with 100 knights and the king of Northumberland right straight. So this tournament and this joust stood long, till it was near night, for the knights of the Round Table relieved ever unto King Arthur, for the king was wrought out of measure that he and his knights might not prevail that day. Then Sir Gawain said to the king, I marvel where all this day Sir Bors de Ganis and his fellowship of Sir Lancelot's blood. I marvel all this day they be not about you. It is for some cause, said Sir Gawain. By my head, said Sir Kay, Sir Bors is yonder all this day upon the right hand of this field, and there he and his blood do more worshipfully than we do. It may well be, said Sir Gawain, but I dread me ever of guile, for on pain of my life, said Sir Gawain. This knight with a red sleeve of gold is himself Sir Lancelot. I see well by his riding and by his great strokes, and the other knight in the same colours is the good young knight, Sir Lavaine. Also that knight with the green shield is my brother, Sir Gareth, and yet he hath disguised himself, for no man shall never make him be against Sir Lancelot, because he made him knight. By my head, said Arthur, nephew, I believe you, therefore tell me now what is your best counsel. Sir, said Sir Gawain, ye shall have my counsel. Let blow unto lodging, for an he be Sir Lancelot du Lake, and my brother, Sir Gareth, with him, with the help of that good young knight, Sir Lavaine. Trust me, truly it will be no boot to strive with them, but if we should fall 10 or 12 upon one night, and that were no worship, but shame. Ye say truth, said the king, and for to say sooth, said the king, it was shame to us so many as would be to set upon them any more. For wit ye well, said King Arthur, there be 3 good knights, and namely that knight with the sleeve of gold. So then they blew unto lodging, but forthwithal King Arthur let send unto the 4 kings, and to the mighty duke, and prayed them that the knight with the sleeve of gold depart not from them, but that the king may speak with him. Then forthwithal King Arthur alighted and unarmed him, and took a little hackney and rode after Sir Lancelot, for ever he had a spy upon him. And so he found him among the 4 kings and the duke, and there the king prayed them all unto supper, and they said they would with good will. And when they were unarmed, then King Arthur knew Sir Lancelot, Sir Lavaine, and Sir Gareth. Ah, Sir Lancelot, said King Arthur, this day ye have heated me and my knights. So they yede unto Arthur's lodging all together, and there was a great feast and great revel, and the prize was given unto Sir Lancelot, and by heralds they named him that he had smitten down 50 knights, and Sir Gareth 35, and Sir Lavaine 24 knights. Then Sir Lancelot told the king and the queen how the lady huntress shot him in the forest of Windsor, in the buttock, with an broad arrow, and how the wound thereof was at times 6 inches deep, and in like long. Also Arthur blamed Sir Gareth because he left his fellowship, and held with Sir Lancelot. My lord, said Sir Gareth, he made me a knight, and when I saw him so hard bestead, methought it was my worship to help him, for I saw him do so much, and so many noble knights against him. And when I understood that he was Sir Lancelot du Lake, I shamed to see so many knights against him alone. Truly, said King Arthur unto Sir Gareth, ye say well, and worshipfully have ye done unto yourself great worship, and all the days of my life, said King Arthur unto Sir Gareth, wit you well I shall love you, and trust you the more better. For ever, said Arthur, it is a worshipful knight's deed to help another worshipful knight when he seeth him in a great danger. For ever a worshipful man will be loath to see a worshipful man shamed. And he that is of no worship, and fareth with cowardice, never shall he show gentleness, nor no manner of goodness where he seeth a man in any danger. For then ever will a coward show no mercy, and always a good man will do ever to another man, as he would be done to himself. So then there were great feasts unto kings and dukes, and revel, game, and play, and all manner of noblesse was used. And he that was courteous, true, and faithful to his friend was that time cherished. Chapter 25. How true love is likened to summer. And thus it passed on from Candlemas until after Easter, that the month of May was come, when every lusty heart beginneth to blossom, and to bring forth fruit. For like as herbs and trees bring forth fruit and flourish in May, in like wise every lusty heart that is in any manner a lover springeth and flourisheth in lusty deeds. For it giveth unto all lovers courage, that lusty month of May, in something to constrain him to some manner of thing more in that month than in any other month, for divers causes. For then all herbs and trees renew a man and woman, and likewise lovers call again to their mind old gentleness and old service, and many kind deeds that were forgotten by negligence. For like as winter Raja doth always erase and deface green summer, so fareth it by unstable love in man and woman. For in many persons there is no stability. For we may see all day, for a little blast of winter's razor, anon we shall deface and lay apart true love for little or naught, that cost much thing. This is no wisdom nor stability, but it is feebleness of nature and great disworship, whosoever use at this. Therefore, like as May month flowereth and flourisheth in many gardens, so in like wise let every man of worship flourish his heart in this world, first unto God, and next unto the joy of them that he promises faith unto. For there was never worshipful man or worshipful woman, but they love one better than another, and worship in arms may never be foiled, but first reserve the honour to God, and secondly the quarrel must come of thy lady. And such love I call virtuous love. But nowadays men cannot love 7 nights, but they must of all their desires, that love may not endure by reason. For where there be soon accorded and hasty heat, soon it cooleth. Right so fareth love nowadays, soon hot, soon cold. This is no stability. But the old love was not so. Men and women could love together 7 years, and no like as lust were between them, and then was love, truth, and faithfulness. And lo, in like wise was used love in King Arthur's days. Wherefore I liken love nowadays unto summer and winter, for like as the one is hot and the other cold, so fareth love nowadays. Therefore all ye that be lovers call unto your remembrance the month of May, like as did Queen Guinevere, for whom I make here a little mention, that while she lived she was a true lover, and therefore she had a good end.